I have to admit, the way that this starts off with the music is so ominous, it made my belly button feel a little bit tighter. Land Before Time 10. So, as with all the others, it starts off, and at least the graphics are a little bit better in this one than they have been. They got the old Jurassic Park intro down. This is the Great Longneck Migration. Sarah's dad starts narrating.
These ancient giants resembled us in some ways, too.
Were those not the rainbow faces we saw in the background over there? Where are you guys going? Get back on your freaking spaceship. We also see the Parasaurolophus, and seeing the little baby Parasaurolophus beside his mom, oh my god. You don't really see like other dinosaurs. You see the Littlefoots in the background, but those are not actually Littlefoots. Are those Chimaerosauruses? Or I don't know. They're like freaking shoebox looking dinosaurs that don't have Littlefoot's head. They look like shoes. What do you want from me? But I do like this, and this scene for some reason reminds me of Bambi. They look very deer-like.
They slept.
Bambi is one of my favorite movies of all time, and this scene right here just seems as though it was recreated in the Parasaurolophus scene. Could just be me.
They slept. And so
I don't know, it just reminds me of that. It's so cute. So then it goes into, they did everything just like us, farted shit, dreamt too, and everything is flying up like Jean Grey is back in prehistoric times, and all the longnecks are flying with their teeth. Listen, I would be freaked out if I saw this. These are other longnecks, and Littlefoot doesn't seem to have a problem with this, seeing other longnecks flying, and then he's floating too. But I'm sorry, if I was having a dream and I saw other beings of my species floating like this in a freaking group, I would be terrified. Littlefoot's dream, however, turns into a nightmare when all the longnecks get scared. The whole place turns matrix green. The sun glows really, really bright, and then something bad happens. And then it falls out of the sky. Ew, nasty, disgusting, gross. Freddy Krueger looking Five Nights. I don't ever want to see your face again. Meeker and Gourmet are still, oh my god, they're colored correctly. Would you look at that bag of apples? Littlefoot goes back to sleep. However, we can see his grandparents both starting to stir as though they've had the same dream. They're all playing tag when Littlefoot gets distracted by the sun and remembers his dream. Sarah's like, what the frick is wrong with you? It's a great circle. You see it all the time. Why is it so fascinating now? I don't know, bitch. Get out my ass. Look at Petrie.
Yup, yup, yup. I have sleep stories all of the time. I love them.
I know, right? Even the nightmares. Oh my god. Sarah's eyelids are proper. I'm sorry, like, it's just been nonstop mistakes the past few movies that I'm actually surprised when they're colored correctly. Jesus, Ducky, you need to ease up on the tree stars. Looking a bit thick and They all explain what their sleep stories are. Sarah claims she never has sleep stories because Three Horns don't do that. And Littlefoot baits her into it, saying that, well, it's too bad, because I had a dream that you were able to smash this huge rock, and it split in half right away. And she's like, well, I didn't say that. That stuff couldn't happen. You know, I'm not saying that.
There's not a rock in the whole Great Valley that I couldn't crack with my head.
He really baits her into it, because he's like, it's a sleep story. Like you said, that stuff in sleep stories is fake. It can never happen, right? Including you breaking that big old rock. And she's like, no.
Let's see.
So he baits her into it and tells her to crack that rock over there, since she said there's not a rock she can't crack. Sarah knows she can't crack the rock, but she's too cocky to back down, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna do it with all my might, and she ends up hurting herself, saying that she's gonna go back home. I'm sorry, but if my friend, I don't care what species you are, even if you have a freaking football helmet on your head, and you run with all your weight and force as fast as you can, smash into a wall of concrete, and then you get up and your first reaction is like, I think I'm gonna go home right now. I would be concerned. You know, maybe your brain is falling out inside itself or something, and then Littlefoot has the nerve to be like, I didn't mean for her to hurt her head. Yes, you did, bitch. You know exactly what she was going to do. She's your friend. You guys have known each other forever. You know that when you bait Sarah to be strong and powerful, she's going to do stuff like that. I don't get his whole, I'm so innocent facade. He's so annoying.
Me think you mainly hurt her brag bone.
Why are your legs so wide open while you're flying? And then you're fanning all the ass air right into everybody else's face. At night, Littlefoot has another one of those dreams. Gourmet's awake too, and he says he's been having the same dream. Why does it look like part of him's colored and the other part, never mind, whatever. So he says that there is this feeling he has. He's been feeling restless, like there's someplace he needs to go, but he doesn't know where.
Why, for some time now, I've been feeling restless.
I know what that means, Grandpa. Someone's not busting it down like they used to. I know people can have a midlife crisis. Can they have an old man crisis? Did dinosaurs have crises? 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 What the frick is the plural of crisis? Really? The plural of crisis is crisis? Okay, whatever.
As if there's someplace I need to go, but I don't know where.
Why is his neck all over the place? I get that's the way that they talk. They have these angles where the neck never stops retracting. It's distracting. Ice. Grandpa, can you tuck me in?
Little bitch, the only thing I'm tucking in is myself. And your grandma.
Grandpa, that's gross! Littlefoot's grandfather tells him that this is just something that happens to long necks every now and then, and they might have to go on this journey tomorrow. Littlefoot tells his friends this the next day, and of course they're not happy about it. Sarah thinks the whole thing is illogical. She's like, okay, so you have this sleep story, and now you're getting ready to go on a journey, but you don't know where you're going, you don't know why. Like, what? When she really breaks it down, it makes so much sense. But I'm sure in their head, in their instinct or whatever it is, it makes sense to them too. But the way she explains it, it really does make them sound crazy.
So let me get this straight. You've been having sleep stories, so you're going on an adventure.
She continues by saying, but you don't know when, and you don't know where. And you don't know why, but you kind of sort of feel when it's time to leave.
But then you and your grandparents will just sort of wander off. Is that it?
I think that this movie, this specific one in the franchise, touches on religion. All of them touch on something. And the Rainbow Face one kind of did as well, but that was more like, what if they're aliens, you know? And space and science. Have an open mind. But then you don't need an answer or evidence for everything. Everything just should be mysterious, so you should believe it. A lot of religious undertones with this, and I could see this because in this movie, Longnecks kind of have this religion where they just feel it. But it's a collective thing that they all feel. They don't have any evidence for it, it's just what it is.
To see the great beyond, across the mud, beyond the pond.
Jesus. So they sing about his adventure. It doesn't take long because right after the song, as on cue, Gourmet shows up and tells Littlefoot it's time to leave. The way he does it is kind of terrifying. I know it's normal for them, but I would not like to see this. I don't want this Trevor Henderson looking entity rising up from around the trees like some supernatural slinky so its head can be in my face while the rest of its body is obscured.
Littlefoot, it's time.
Oh shit, Grandpa. Unfortunately, his friends can't come along. I mean, they can, but they can't because, you know, they have parents and such. It's so interesting seeing the dynamic with his grandparents and him going on this adventure. As usual, Littlefoot gets reckless. A crocodilian is there. His grandparents see it. They're like, Littlefoot, stop! Another reason this little shit is not an INFP. We like exploring. We like new things as well. But when we go into new situations like this, especially if we've had experience with danger before, we are hyper aware of danger and our environment. We're not just going to be hopping on random logs, especially since you've had the experience of predators in the water in like, what, 3 of the past movies?
No!
This is one of those situations where Littlefoot should have died. And in that universe, he probably did. But in another universe, which is the one we're in, he survived. Oh god. They meet this sweet southern looking longneck who's extremely tall.
Oh, cute.
No, he's not. Anyway, this girl's name is Sue, and they're like, how could we ever thank you for saving Littlefoot because we're completely incapable of doing so? And they should have left this thing dead. it should have been dead. The way she stomped on it, like, I know they're hardy and whatnot, but its skull should have been flattened. I don't understand. I hate when they do that. They've done that with a pterosaur as well in one of the intros for the Land Before Time movies. It's like they don't want to show things being dead anymore. We didn't see blood. We didn't see an actual body. You could have just left it as is. That would have been great. Anyway, it's cool to see them all working together. Sue basically asked if she could come along. And I do like this perspective that they do right here when she almost freaking steps on him. She can, sorry. Whoa, sorry. Okay, let me stop. I know, I'm stupid. She gives him a ride on her neck or back. While back home, Sarah cannot stand it. She has a sleep story. Her sleep story is about Littlefoot being held at a hero. It is so cringy, and I can totally understand why. When she sees the cringe, that she wakes up in a horrible fright. It's just, I don't know why she's sitting like a freaking elephant. That part to me is scarier than the actual dream. And she's like, you know what? I need to go out there with, you know, with all the good work they've been doing. The ponytail horns. I mean, come on. Oh, look, now they're normal again. But make up your freaking mind. Jesus. Sarah wakes up Ducky and Spike, and she's like, come on. We're gonna see what kind of adventures he's up to, because I can't stand it anymore. Spike apparently doesn't know how to wake up unless you have food in front of him. They wake up Petrie, too. Oh, I wish someone would. I wish you would wake me up like that. Oh my God. I would strangle you with my freaking blanket of sticks or whatever it is he's using to sleep. They could have killed him. Seriously. Who throws a freaking watermelon at an animal that is the size of the watermelon? I mean, this should be the thumbnail. Ew. It is terrifying. They're like, listen, we're gonna go on an adventure. Are you ready for this?
Me, always ready.
As Littlefoot and his grandparents venture on, they are all joined by a bunch of other longnecks. Not really joined by them, but they're just all going the same place. And this is so cute, sort of. And then they ruin it. I don't know who decided to do this. I feel like they put this in just to look cool. But this shot with them transitioning from the 2D sort of 3D situation was very uncomfortable. I don't know another word to describe it. It should not have been done. It's uncanny. And that's hard to say when you have a dinosaur character. It's so uncanny, it made it glaringly obvious that it should not have been in there.
Will they all be wherever it is we're going?
I think so, Littlefoot. We'll see.
Okay, so notice how he's holding his head very still. It's going to transition now into the 3D element. I think that they have it this way so they can show you, look at this cool artistic shot, which is, you know how I feel about that already. I understand there's some movies that are made with artistic elements or they're made to look artistic, but then when you make something so weird and out of place for the sake of it just looking artistic with it making no sense, it is very strange. See for yourselves.
But what are we gonna see, Grandma?
Notice the transition. Notice how his head is eerily still. And now maybe it's just me, but when they zoom out with this shot, it feels extremely cringy and unnecessary.
I don't know, Littlefoot.
You see that shit? And then you can see his color popping in and out. Why did they do that? Look, guys, we can make things in 3D. Yeah, and you just messed up the shot. It looks like freaking turd. It's horrible. He's in this, he's looking up at his grandma, first of all, in a very unnatural stance. Notice how they keep him very still, so he doesn't move so that he can be in the correct placement for when the 3D transitions. And then, like, he's just looking up, he's talking, and it looks very freaking unnatural. You have it there's like, okay, let's transition now. Keep him still, don't make his head move, make his mouth move, but not his head. Like a freaking Siri robot. And then we see the ass end of his Goomba looking head with his eye sticking out the side like some Crypt Keeper, and him just still looking up at his grandma because his model has its head perpetually stuck like that. And it looks freaking bizarre. It looks horrible, disgusting. And they zoom out and show all of them like that, and they just all look unnatural. And ew, don't, just because you can do 3D doesn't mean it's applicable in that shot. This is one of those times when you have those syndromes. Oh, let's do it because we can. No, sometimes you just should not. It's not adding any element to the story. It's not adding any humor, entertainment, or anything new. It's just making me mad. And it looks horrible. It's actually taking me out of it. Looky-loo, Sarah and her friends have to pass that same place place where that crocodilian thing is. But they don't want to go in that sticky goo stuff. While they're figuring what rock to step on next, the crocodile, waiting for them to step on him, gets very upset. This prehistoric crocodilian thing. It's like, oh my god, you guys are so annoying. It's just getting in my mouth. Sarah accidentally causes this log to crash down on this stupid thing, and somehow it's still alive. They're very tired, and they lie what we know is a freaking sharp tooth. I guess to the audience, we're not supposed to know what it's like, but it's very clear that's what it is. Because when they go up to it, it looks like nothing else in the swamp. Very clear it's a sharp tooth. Back at Littlefoot's camp, they all feel like they're close by, and they send Littlefoot to run up the tree. Very dangerous, by the way. Surprised they let him do that. And then he ends up having one of the stupidest faces I've seen him make on this franchise.
Climb to the top, Littlefoot, and look through the gap in the tree stars.
Oh my god. So anyway, Littlefoot goes to the tip top of the canopy and he's like, Grandpa, we're here, we're at this place. Of course, as we know, when they all wake up, they do the stupid comedic act about, well, I'm not snoring. Well, who else is snoring if it's not Spike?
They can't, but Sharp Teeth can!
Why? You know, I'm trying so hard to be patient with my lovely little friends here, but if you see a sharp tooth and you even articulate that he is snoring, which indicates that he's sleeping, why would you then scream at the top of your lungs to wake him up? You know, especially since logically in the past, every single one of these characters will sneak away and try not to disturb whatever it is. But especially Sarah, being the most logical one out of all of them. She sees the sharp tooth and she's like, you know, oh shit, it's sleeping. It still just can't snore, but sharp tooth can. And then sharp tooth is woken up out of his goddamn sleep and he's like, what the hell is going on? I mean, come on now, seriously?
Mean it, get up, right?
So Sarah yells at them and tells them to get up, and she thinks Spike is the one that's sleeping. Petrie's like, that's not Spike, dude. I too would be very confused, but why is she the only one who caught that? When they're right next to Spike, wouldn't they have heard somebody else snoring? Shouldn't they also have been worried?
I did not know boulders could snore.
Jesus Christ. You know, I don't know what to say past this point, man. I swear to God. Like, it's understandable when they're like little babies. And it's the first movie because they're like totally innocent and naive. Y'all have been alive long enough to know that boulders can't snore. Okay, let's be fair. Let's be fair and let's just say Ducky, being the little ESFP that she is, she's like, you know, this is a new experience. I didn't know that. I mean, there's a lot of things that we didn't know. There's people who didn't know there was squid that could fly.
They can't, but Sharp Teeth can!
And then Sarah screams at the top of her lungs. And then instead of running away, she's like, sharp tooth can. That's a sharp tooth. Everyone is now aware that it's a sharp tooth. Everyone's aware of it, right? But you scream this out, and instead of running away, you just step away from it. You're like, oh my God, it's sharp teeth can snore. We're aware that it's sleeping. Let me scream at the top of my lungs while it's sleeping so I can wake it up, and then jump over here and then just sit there and stare at it. Really, bruh? Really? I don't blame the sharp tooth. I don't blame the sharp tooth in this moment being so freaking annoyed. I would want to slice their throats open and chomp out their guts as well. And this, I've never rooted for the Land Before Time characters to be killed so badly until I saw this scene. Anyways, they go and hide in a cave and they meet an old-timer Longneck who's going where the other Longnecks are going. Meanwhile, Littlefoot's at the valley or this area, this crater where they're all waiting for something to happen. It's like think of it as like this religious retreat where they all go to some convention because they're all going to meet the Lord or something. Sue always said that she wanted someone to look up to. So when she sees this Longneck, she's like, oh my God.
My goodness.
No problem. No problem at all, little lady.
Oh shit. Sue's face. And then I love Sue because you can tell because she's like a big girl. She's like way taller than a lot of the other Longnecks, even though they don't show the scale. But she always said that she wanted someone to look up to because everyone's always looking up to her because she's so tall. Now she's actually looking up at someone.
Little lady?
Littlefoot's so excited, He wants to get everything done right away, but his grandparents are exhausted. You know, they can't ride on top of Sue's back. Why do they keep doing these annoying 3D shots? Stop! It's not necessary. It looks dumb. There's a difference between it making sense to put in the movie and you just doing it because you're showing that you can do it. We're aware. Good job. Want a medal? Littlefoot remembers his sleep story and he's trying to tell his grandparents, hey, I think this is what, and he turns around, they're both sleeping. Thank goodness they're colored correctly and they have their backbones in place. Thank goodness for that. Littlefoot meets another long neck named Shorty. He's a bully. And then they both start fighting. At least Littlefoot can stand up for himself. And then they hear a voice. This other big long neck with the most handsome voice I've heard on a long neck before is like, Shorty, what did I tell you? You gotta hear his voice. His voice is like so cute.
Not two. Oh yeah, yeah.
Why are their faces touching each other like that? I can just imagine if they break out swinging, but instead of swinging fists, they swing their necks at each other like giraffes.
Wanna do something about it?
Shorty, what's going on?
So then the guy comes along who obviously knows Shorty and asks him, yo, what's up? What's happening? The way they both look up at this person, it's almost like he's intimidating enough to scare them. Or maybe they're just both used to knowing that they're not supposed to be fighting with each other.
Ow! He stepped on my tail.
Wow. You know, there are people in real life that do that crap. They're the ones who start fights. I can't stand that. I cannot stand it. I cannot stand it. You guys know me. I've had situations like this in the past where I'll be minding my business and somebody comes out the woodwork and just fucks with me for no reason. No freaking reason. And then when I'm like, you know what? I'm put in a situation where I have to defend myself. I have to defend myself. If I don't, it ruins my reputation. In this case, it would ruin Littlefoot's reputation because he'd be a little bitch. So the minute I stand up for myself, all of a sudden, the other person cries victim. When somebody steps in and holds them accountable for their stupidity. Isn't that weird? Thank goodness this guy sees right through this. This isn't the first time I'm watching this movie, so I already know what happens, but it's been a long time since I've watched The Long Neck Migration. And just things hit different now.
On purpose.
Who did?
Him.
Him? You mean the one you tripped?
Shorty ends up accidentally being like, yeah, I mean, oh crap. Until the guy says, yeah, okay, it's me, Shorty, give me the truth. And then Shorty admits that, yes, I did trip him.
Ah, okay. I tripped him.
He's such an idiot. I couldn't stand Shorty. Oh my god. He's like, you're too green, dude. And it's so ironic, because, like, he's jealous of Littlefoot. He's green with envy, if you know what I mean. Sorry, I know it was stupid. Low-hanging fruit. Anyway, Shorty goes off because he's all mad, and this guy's like, hey, I'm Braun. And then Littlefoot introduces himself and says, hey, I'm Littlefoot. And he's like, you know, that's weird.
That's funny. They called me Littlefoot when I was young.
He kind of has the air of Bambi's father. Have you ever seen Bambi's father? Like, he's really handsome. Not a furry, by the way, but... I mean, if I was a doe, I mean, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So don't sit there on your high horse and point fingers, because you're aware. You could put yourself in that situation and be aware that there is a good-looking specimen, all right? This guy is basically the long neck version of that stag. And then what happens next is one of the reasons I absolutely love this movie, because this scene coming up right here is the embodiment of real-life drama. The reaction is so real, the way everything happens.
Really? That is kinda...
Littlefoot!
So then Littlefoot's grandfather comes up and he recognizes this other long neck.
We, Ron?
Papa Longneck.
Oh shit. Oh no. So they know each other. And unless there was a relationship going on between the both of them, it's very clear that the connection is deep enough for him to call Gourmet Papa Longneck. Now, why would he be doing that? Is this his son? Clearly not. Braun is not Gourmet's son, because if he was, he'd be calling him Dad. So why is he calling him Papa Longneck? Everyone else calls him Grandpa Longneck. He calls him Papa Longneck. Why is he doing that?
Littlefoot?
Gourmet. That's the look and the stuttering that a parent gives when they're about to drop some truth bombs, where they're about to say something that's really uncomfortable, and they're like, how do I tell this person this? I'll just come out and say it. He did that so well. I feel uncomfortable for Gourmet.
This is your father.
Littlefoot,
Before he can finish, Littlefoot runs away. I feel so bad for Littlefoot, but it's kind of funny the way he runs because it looks like he's trying so hard. Like, his running is not very efficient. Anyway, whatever. But that scene, I just kept playing it over and over again because the look on Littlefoot's face. Like, I can't imagine what that's like. I've grown up with both my parents, and I can imagine, like, if my father wasn't in my life. Well, let me try to imagine it for a quick second. Okay, I'd have to really get into it. But anyway, Littlefoot runs away, and the music, the way the music changes from being all lighthearted, like, I don't know, the way that they did this movie is so wonderful. The sound design is so excellent because you can even hear the music in the background changing from mysterious to confounded. The way that the music plays, or the music that they chose, is actually mirroring Littlefoot's perception of what's going on.
I wondered where you had gotten to.
There's no music as Gourmet is coming up. He addresses Littlefoot, and then when Gourmet calls out Brawn...
Brawn?
That moment right there was for Gourmet. That realization, that emotion of being happy, seeing someone that he recognizes. Yes, Brawn is Littlefoot's father, which means that that's Littlefoot's mother's piece. Why did I say that? That's her daddy baby daddy, whatever. That was her mate. Jeez. Look at Littlefoot's face now in parallel with the music.
Papa Longneck.
That's Littlefoot starting or trying to make the connection. And then the song, the music is kind of mirroring them recognizing each other. This is a complete closure moment for the both of them. Remember, the families were separated in the first movie. So we always expected, okay, either Littlefoot's dad is dead, or he just left, or his mom's just a single mom. Everyone's probably wondering, just like Littlefoot is, where have you been?
Littlefoot?
So the music is still, this is amazing, Brawn's here. And then hear how it changes when Gourmet tells Littlefoot this is his father. This is from Littlefoot's perspective. The music is still kind of from his perspective as well as Gourmet's and Brawn's. It's this, huh? What's going on? Gourmet's perspective from the music standpoint is, oh my gosh, it's you. It's a recognition type of music.
This is your father.
So you hear how that transition is from Gourmet's perspective as he's saying, this is your father, or this is your, it's this hopeful, happy. Gourmet is nervous about telling Littlefoot, but he's like, to him, this is a happy moment for him. You've met your father. This is Brawn. But from Littlefoot's perspective, the moment he gets the word father out, it's a doom and gloom transition of the music.
This is your father.
See, it's kind of sad and down and glum. That transition is how Littlefoot feels right now. His whole world is falling apart. When Brawn catches up to Littlefoot, and this is quite a beautiful view, Littlefoot is very upset and basically calls him out.
Littlefoot, we have to talk.
Where were you? All this time? Where were you?
Oh, Littlefoot.
And I know what Littlefoot's probably thinking too. My mom is dead. Wait a minute. Hold on. My mind is going, like, I'm just putting this together as I'm editing. Wow, he was gone a long time. So Brawn says that he and Littlefoot's mother were in love and she was expecting.
Your mother and I knew we were going to have a hatchling. You see, we wanted to raise you in a safe place. So before you were even an egg, I went off to find a new home.
Sure you did. Sure you did. Sure you didn't have 1,600 other bitches yet to impregnate? Because I don't know about you guys, but where they were looked pretty safe to me, but oh well. Not like the Great Valley was that much safer. How far did you have to go of a safe place to lay some freaking eggs? He had hatchlings, by the way. Littlefoot's siblings died. But I just call bullshit on that. Like, when I first watched this, I was like, aww. And then I'm like, that don't make no freaking sense. There's a herd. You have a herd full of longnecks there. You're safe. This couldn't be any safer than the freaking Great Valley. The Great Valley's not that safe. Sharptooth are going through there all the time. Why are you going so far at the time when your freaking female needs you to be around? Like, it's just weird and doesn't really add up to me. Look at this place. Look at this freaking paradise. What was he talking about? This, you know, it's so interesting how a few years makes a difference with how your brain develops and is able to critical think. It is clear to me now that They obviously wrote this and tried to put this together because they had to come up with something new for the franchise. And like, you know what? We never addressed Littlefoot's father. Let's address that in this one. And they made the story up. There was no backstory before with Littlefoot's father. I may be wrong, but I've yet to see Don Bluth or anybody address where Littlefoot's father is. It was pretty much established that Littlefoot's father just, you know, slid into his mother's physical DMs and just left a present there and just dipped. That was it. Littlefoot never talked about his father, never asked about his father, at least not on screen. And his mom was just a single mother, and that was normal. Kind of like how Bambi was just whatever. The only difference is that the buck was the lead buck of the entire deer herd, so we got to see that. But I like how they displayed that in the Bambi movie, because even though the father was there and he came down to see Bambi, he wasn't a part of Bambi's life as much. Like, he wasn't like, oh, my son. Then the second Bambi movie, while it was endearing, it was so much less realistic than the first, because now he's like playing with Bambi and showing his soft side, when in reality that probably would not happen. Yes, I'm aware it's a cartoon. However, it just does not add up. It does not add up with the place that they're in. If they had showed them in an arid environment with lots of rocks and stuff and barely any food, I could understand if they were already on the move and they're like, okay, I gotta go and you can't walk long distances. Why can't she walk long distances? Like, I get that you're going to find some place, but you're just gonna wander for weeks on end until she has the eggs anyway? Like, that doesn't make sense. The time that you're using to go away and find some complete different land, by the time you even find one, if you even do, she would have had the eggs already. So why not have her go with you? Especially considering that a lot of the longnecks migrate when they're gonna have babies. Like, it just makes no freaking sense. I call bullshit.
When I got back, the earth shakes had changed everything.
Uh-huh. Maybe if you had taken your wife with you, that wouldn't have happened. He claimed he searched for Littlefoot's mom and for Littlefoot that he knew would have been born by this time. He said the great circle rose and fell many times. I love Ron. I think he's hot as a long neck. If I was a long neck, you know what I mean? But I just... nah, man. I think he came up with that because he's like, what the hell? What am I gonna tell this boy? How can I explain why I'm sitting here with a whole bunch of other females? Because he's the leader of his herd, by the way. Yeah, how am I gonna explain that?
Oh, what we about to do? What we about to do?
So I think this guy just came up with, hey... this is what's up. So he said someone had told him about what happened to his mom and the sharp tooth. I call Littlefoot's mom Diana after Diana Ross with a song in the first one. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Anyway, Littlefoot forgives him. He tells him about how he found Shorty, and Shorty was all these little ones, and he was protecting them, and then they followed him, and then other longnecks joined them, and they all looked up to him, and then before he knew it, a whole bunch of longnecks followed him, and he's like, wait, Dad, you're the leader of this herd? He's like, yeah, I guess so. And he gets along with his dad and sings a stupid song. To have a dad... and all his 600 other bitches. While Littlefoot is bonding with his dad, Shorty feels left out. As far as he's concerned, the only family Shorty ever had since he was orphaned was Bronn. Littlefoot said, hey, if you want to spend time with me and my dad, you can. And Shorty's like, nah, I'm good. I can spend time with Bronn whenever I want. And then Bronn realizes, yeah, you know, no matter how close I am with Bronn, or Shorty realizes this, how close I am with Bronn, I'm not his biological son. And they just both look at him and just leave. Jeez. Pat, as this old long neck is called, is now going in the same direction with Sarah and friends. Sarah, who didn't want him along at first, was like, you know what, this guy's pretty okay. And he saved us a couple of times. But something bad happens, as it always does. Pat! Dougie sounds so concerned for him. That's the only time I've legitimately heard her sound very concerned for someone when something happens. The way she cried out at him, that was just really well done.
Kids, run!
He said that so redneck. I'm sorry. Kids, run! Where have I heard that before?
Woke up talking about pressing charges, so I just pulled my tongue out of her ass and left.
What would have been your last words to Drew?
Run, bitch!
Okay, I don't know why that stuck out to me. That was the only thing I remember about that movie. But yeah, that's where I heard it. I just heard something. Okay, so whatever. Pat is okay, and he's like, you know, guys, I'm slowing you down. You better get going. And Sarah, surprisingly, is like, no, we're not leaving without you. So Bronna's like, all right, you know, now that we know each other and I found you again, have you thought about what's gonna happen now? I mean, his grandparents were only raising him because he was orphaned. Their daughter is dead. His dad's not around, so he's like, you don't gotta answer now.
It's only natural that you want to be with your father right now. Your grandma and I love you no matter where you are.
Aww. I really love this movie. This is one of the sequels or the later movies that are actually really sweet because I know that there are people that can identify with this. I've never identified with this. I don't know what it's like to be orphaned. I'm guessing everyone will experience that, but I only consider people orphaned when they're kids. When you're growing older, your parents die when they get old. That's natural. I don't really see it, a freaking 50, 60, 70-year-old being an orphan. That's weird. But Littlefoot, up until this point, was an orphan. He's still a minor. He's still a child. So for him, it's a very real thing. And it's really cool that they touch on this.
We just want you to be happy.
Aww. So Littlefoot's, you know what? I'm gonna go and sleep back with my dad. For a little boy, having a father is so freaking important. Like, I'm a girl, and I love my dad to pieces. My dad is the most important person, aside from my partner, is the most important human being in my life. Like, that's my daddy. Oh my God. I cannot imagine the time coming when I have to say goodbye to him. I don't even like thinking about it. So for Littlefoot, having not had a father or father figure, aside from his grandfather, and realizing, hey, I have a father. I have one of those. It's very, very important to him. Now he knows where he came from. He's naturally going to latch on to him. So in the middle of the night, he sees Shorty leaving, all sad. So Littlefoot's like, where you going, dude? He's going to follow him, and he's like, where are you going? And Shorty's like, whatever, there's nothing there for me. And this is so sweet, because Littlefoot tells him, hey, I was thinking, you know, maybe we could be like brothers or something. This really touches Shorty, and seeing Shorty smile, because he just wants to feel like he belongs. He's not even gonna fight for Bron's affection. He's like, you know what? Yeah, okay, let's go back home. And it's really sweet. Now they're like brothers. This is where Petrie and the others catch up to Littlefoot. And I love this part, because it's one of Petrie's little goofs. So Littlefoot's like, where the frick did you come from? And Shorty's scared, because he's not used to seeing other dinosaurs, especially interacting with long necks. So then Petrie's like, Littlefoot's like, where are the others? And Petrie's like, oh, they're coming.
Me knew that you.
Others? The whole gang?
All here. Be here real soon.
Shorty's looking at him. Petrie's like, you want to back up off me, bro? You breathing all up in my ass and shit? Like, what are you doing? So then Petrie's like, all right, they're going to be here real soon. Everyone's waiting. And then the next scene, like, seconds after. Oh God, this part, you see, this is what I love about Land Before Time. When it's not trying to be comical, it's hilarious.
That be them now.
Okay, so we hear that, and Petrie's not shocked by this. Why is Petrie not shocked by this? Because Pat is with them. It's not even that funny. It's just funny to me, because this is the way it happens. How did you not see a shark? Where did the sharp tooth come from? Petrie flew up high, and that's how he saw Littlefoot. He was able to spot Littlefoot from high up in the sky. Good job. Now future movies are using Petrie's ability. You didn't see the sharp tooth? Littlefoot's the same color as the ground. The sharp tooth is darker, in my opinion. But you couldn't, you know, okay, whatever. The others catch up. Jesus Christ, I can't with this movie. What the hell was that? Oh my God, his foot is in his ass, like literally. The way that why do they fly like that. Pat comes out of nowhere and he's like, no, you can't have him. And okay, wait, what? He's chasing after them like an idiot. Pat comes out of nowhere and he's like, I got you, boy. And then the Sharptooth goes flying like it's made of freaking sand. The long and short of it is Bron ends up hearing all of this happening and he's like, wait a minute, what's that screaming noise? There's another Sharptooth, and Bron said they usually are not in 3s, they're usually in 2s. But this just so happens to be one of the situations where the Sharptooth hunt in 3s. And I love this scene because Littlefoot's grandpa really steps in. All the other longnecks were like, don't go down there. And Gourmet was like, my grandson's down there. And the way he handles it with that look on his face, I was like, damn, Gourmet. Yes! Wicked! Gourmet! What? That was great, man. I love it. Look at his face. Oh my God, protection 3000. I love it. I love it so much. Grandma also comes in, and of course, she's not gonna let her husband fight alone. That's my girl. This is the same thing. You think I'm gonna sit there watching a killer battle with my husband and be sitting in the freaking sidelines being all like, oh my God, honey, be careful, watch out behind you. No, I'm gonna get my freaking Mossberg and come down there and help him. Are you kidding me? No way. But she comes in and she has her husband's back. That's a real pair right there. So they all help Bron and Pat, and together they fight off the Sharpteeth. Then this weird shit starts happening in the sky. The Longnecks all go around the circle because this is something that they just feel like they have to do. The Sharpteeth are trying to chase them after they got freaking cat. I don't know what that means. And the Sharpteeth are like, okay, we're out of here. And they all stretch their necks out really long and tippy their toes up. And when the eclipse is happening, the story was that the moon and the sun fight, and then the moon throws the sun out of the sky, and they don't want that to happen, so they have to catch the sun to keep it from falling, because that's how the story goes about the origin of the Longnecks and whatnot. Because it just so happens that a bunch of Longnecks were on the ground, and they're the ones responsible for saving the world. Sarah, for some reason, believes this. I don't know why. I think because she's never seen an eclipse before, and to her little kid mind, she's like, oh my God, there's a big black thing going in front of the sun that looks like it's fighting the sun, and the Longnecks are holding it up, and nothing happens. Okay, it must be true. Longnecks saved the world. After it's all over, they invite Pat back to the Great Valley. Sue has found her love, and she's like, oh my God, I'm gonna get some dick tonight.
Does this mean you won't be walking back with us?
Yeah. I'm not sorry at all.
Jesus Christ. She likes older guys too. Go Sue. Old men are where it's at. Then the ending is one of my favorite songs of the franchise. Oh my God. It made me cry so much. Because right now Littlefoot thinks that he has to go with his dad. It's his father. Like, that's his actual blood father. So he's like, yeah, I guess I gotta go with my dad. So he won't be going back to the Great Valley. And that means he won't see his friends anymore.
And we will always be your friends.
No matter where you are. Oh my God. It's so cute. Especially the ending when Littlefoot looks all sad right here and Petrie's singing to him and they're just basically encouraging him and telling him, look, it doesn't matter how far you go. It doesn't matter if we never see each other again. To us, you are always going to be our friend no matter what.
In my dreams and feel you in my heart.
The actors did a really good job also at getting down the emotions while they were singing. Ducky actually felt as though she was hurting. Like, you really have to listen to the whole song. But this part really, really got me.
We won't be survived.
Oh, I can't. It's so sad. I can't. No. Anyway, so Littlefoot and his grandparents are saying goodbye. They really believe Littlefoot's gonna leave. And of course, it's very hard for them because they basically raised Littlefoot. And the father's like, all right, I've been absent for a while, smashing it up on the side, but he is my son. He needs to come with me. And Bron is so happy. They all hug Littlefoot goodbye. The grandmother's taking it harder, of course. And Bron's like, I'm so excited. I can't wait to show you to everyone and, you know, whatever. And then he's like, hey, I made my decision. And he basically says, look, I love you, but my grandparents need me right now. And he comes back. And Shorty, of course, is happy. Now that Littlefoot's not in the picture, Shorty gets Braun all to himself. When Littlefoot comes back, his grandparents are actually shocked. They thought that he was gonna go with his father. They're so happy, and the looks on their faces, oh my god. This movie's so amazing. It's one of the best Land Before Time sequels. Nothing will ever come close to the first movie, but this is one of the best sequels. Of course, Braun is sad because he misses his son, but at least he knows his son's being taken care of. He knows where to find him. And he's like, Shorty, hey, what's up? Remember me? And Shorty's like, oh, you remember me now, huh? And they all head back to the Great Valley with Pat, who's walking pretty good right now. And then they do that stupid 3D thing that they're doing, and I don't know why they keep doing that. It's very annoying. Stop doing it.
I just have one question. Do we have to go back through the swamp?
Aww. This was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. I mean, of course, it had its stupid things, but it didn't have nearly as many mistakes as the other ones. And of course, the mistakes are reasons to make fun of it. But because it was so touching and endearing, that kind of overthrew all of that. I absolutely loved it. Oh my god. Loved it, loved it, loved it. The long neck migration. Let's see what happens with the others. This little doodle I did is called the Midnight Ortabo. This creature is harmless for about half its life. When the female of the species reaches sexual maturity, which would happen at about 34 Earth years, she massacres and devours everything within a 20-mile radius. Instead of excreting waste, every ounce of sustenance she devours forms her eggs. This creature literally leaves a trail of destruction in her wake, and because of how fast she eats and lays her eggs, she also leaves a trail of her offspring behind. Her eggs hatch in about 2 days, and the young Ortobos feed on the remains of whatever their mother did not eat. How cute, right? Their siblings, by the way, are also a delicacy. A pregnant or birthing female, whatever you want to call it, a female that has gone through her, maturity is 3 times as fast and as strong as the males in her species. You won't even see her coming. They're called Midnight Ortobos because they massacre at midnight, and they're also mostly nocturnal. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.